曾经，只要一个人有了一台车，便有了去到这世上的任何地方，并做到任何事情的无限种可能。确实，打从这些巨大又嘈杂的内燃动力机械重新定义了我们的移动方式和已知的疆界起，逐陆路和大洲而居，以车为家的 Overland， 跋山涉水的四处探险壮游，饱览世界上最人烟罕至也最扣人心弦的秘境和绝景，更堪称每个浪漫的无可救药又不安于世的性情中人们与重度旅游爱好者的终极梦想。遑论这些based on正统吉普与货卡，仿佛能陪着你安然无恙地度过世界末日的 Overlanders， 只是
这真的是我看过数一数二触目惊心的景象。它是打横在车道上了吗？确实啦，身为一个不 road trip 就觉得不对劲的人而言啊，心中都有着这么样的一个疑问：假如有一天我真的要自己亲手打造一台车，成为一个 Overlander 去环游世界，究竟又要付出多么高昂的代价啊？不过恰巧最近台湾刚好有着这么样的一对来自澳洲和法国，而且已经驾着他们亲手打造的 Defender 130。环游世界，至今已经迈入了第4年的夫妻档啊，真的是啊大名鼎鼎 GrizzlyN'Bear Leigh and Stephanie 这一对夫妻啊，碍于某些因素所以他们不得不提前结束了他们在台湾的行程。或许可以趁着离台前夕拜访的过程可以从中寻找到这个答案，也不一定。那首先在这边还是要跟大家解释一下所谓的 Overland， 你可能会觉得这个名词有这么一点的陌生尤其当我们身在一个海岛型的国家。所谓的 Overland 它是一种经由陆路的旅行方式，尤其在大陆型的国家特别的受到欢迎，因为其实是有机会可以单纯靠着开车去到一个不一样的国家，甚至是跨出到另外一个不同的大洲。那也因为这是一种 based on 陆地的旅行方式所以座驾势必也得是那些具备了恶路走破能力的专业试乘士，因为你可能会经常的驾驶这些车到一些无人的蛮夷之地，所以除了要兼顾非常的耐操，而且非常的易于维修之外往往也必须得兼顾起居，像是路宿这样子的机能，协助你度过你的漫漫长路所以渐渐的就演变成为了一种专业越野的改装风格。说真的啦，有机会不妨去国外的像是 Expedition Portal 这一类的论坛上面瞧瞧，看看那些精心打造出来的 Overlander 跟那些非常疯狂的行程和当中的景色绝对会让你发现一个全新的世界。正如你所见这个正是全新 MY 2021年式，要价238万的 Discovery Sport P250 HSE 最顶规的型，然后新增了之前在 Defender 上面已经把玩过的 PV Pro 的界面，新的方向盘，360度环景，还有 Clear Sight 这个透明引擎盖，非常具有实用性的功能当然啦，你可能会觉得，明明我们在谈论的不是那些 Overlander 吗？怎么会跟这一台入门的 Land Rover 的休旅车有什么样的关联性某方面来讲，这真的是一台非常舒服的车，尤其现行所贩售的 Discovery Sport， 其实在2020年的时候才刚刚中期改款，不但已经换上了一个全新名为 PTAA 的底盘模组，跟新增了48伏的轻油电系统之外最有感的莫过于他们大幅的去精进了它过往为人诟病的内装用料、行路质感跟它的隔音等各方面的表现。所以虽然是一台不折不扣的入门车，但着力于 on off-road 的舒适性，而且是拿来 long hauling 的特质确实是尽显了 Land Rover 这个品牌的价值。尤其它的空间表现也是承袭了 Land Rover 这种一贯非常有效率的在利用空间，而且非常方正的规划手法不止在容积上面乐胜 Evoque， 重点是你车长还不到4.6米的车，可以塞下第3排座椅，跟有着一个这么样子巨大的行李箱。所以即便在面对 Range Rover 这一块金字招牌，都是完完全全的不会让人觉得逊色。那当然了，就驾驭感而言啊，毕竟是一个入门的型号，那我也不讳言啊，相较于 Evoque， 它的调教没有那么样子的全面。不过也只不过是因为它选择了向舒适性这边多放一点心力罢了，非常的软。可能在市区，在一些比较低速的走行的时候，你甚至会觉得它有一点晃。可是 cruising 的时候，它非常有 Land Rover 该有的那种水准，而且因为它车身不是那么重，所以它不会有太多的后悬的摆荡，所以稳定性啊，其实是让人蛮诧异的。那当然了，这个加速表现啊，虽然 T250的249匹马力跟365牛顿米的数据表现确实是不会太差劲啊，但我也真心怀疑它的0到100是不是真的如原厂所言有7.9秒的水准，因为真的是蛮缓和的，多数的时候它的 kick down 都不是那么样子的积极。除了一个真的是非常 mellow 的变速箱之外，这一具引擎的精致度是让人非常的喜欢的，你唯一要忍受的可能就是它的根线并不是那么样子的灵光。而且啊，风切声跟底盘的噪音啊，还是没有做到那么样子100%的理想。但即便啊，有着上述的这些小小的不尽人意之处哦，却依然无法抹灭它真的是一台性格很鲜明而且很讨喜的作品的事实。因为相较于多数的高级车品牌，他们在推出这种比较入门的休旅型号的时候，为了要迎合消费者有些抓不到重点的设定方式这台车展现出来的就是一个真正的休旅应该要有的格调，它的氛围，那种浑然天成的安全感，跟扎扎实实没有任何妥协的舒适性，这就是英国的设计，恰如其分。
尽管这柔软又不失尘托的阻尼和路感确实令人欣喜，只是当我总算来到了与Leigh和 Stephanie 相约，那素以台湾最狂热的 Defender 收藏与众2轮界的珍奇异兽而闻名的 Henry's Garage， 热情的他俩更不住分享了起来。
So it's a manual lift. We've got these gas struts at the back here, which assist us to lift. We recently changed those out in Japan because we added additional solar panels.
Oh, okay.
We're completely off-grid capable. We run everything off the electrical. Our cooking, we have a refrigerator, and all of it's powered by these 3 180-watt solar panels on top. So we've got about 30 kilograms of solar there. So before it was quite difficult for us to lift the roof.
So you use your head to pull it up every time?
I use my back. So I just push, but I only need to just get it started.
Well, it's a good way to work out.
Exactly, good leg muscles. So it's quite efficient.
This is nice.
Cool, huh? It's a 4-wheel camper. So the shell, the frame, the siding and the roof is all built in California. We bought it in Germany.
So the whole interior is made by yourself?
Yes, and Steffi.
Wow.
Yeah, we did everything.
Nice. During the trip?
Yeah.
Yes, when we bought the camper, you just don't want to stop breaking it and changing it too much. And then, as you live into it full time, you know what's your needs and what you want with it. So it was about a year ago we changed
Everything.
Pretty much everything.
Wow.
Yes.
4年来，他们都睡在这个车舱之中，真的是不敢相信。
Yeah, it's quite big, huh?
Yeah.
From the outside, before we lift the top, people are like, it's so small, you can't live inside that. We say, just wait. And then we open the top, people come inside, they're like, whoa, it's massive.
It's adequate.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
The height, everything.
Yeah. I think this is Steffi's office for her YouTube editing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We sit the laptop on here. We did our best to utilize every single piece of space, you know? You have to when you live in a tiny house.
All my clothes, they fit in that little space. That's
Not many girls could say that, I don't think.
everything. This is for the underwear, this is for the t-shirts, and this is for the bottom.
It's like a little workshop.
Yeah, exactly. All of our food, cooking appliances are cooked here. We have a 65-litre refrigerator. So we have a 2,000-watt inverter, which is installed in here. We have a 480 amp-hour lithium battery system. And what we can actually do as well is when we're driving the vehicle's alternator does charge our batteries as well. So if we do have a lot of bad weather and no sunshine, then we can start the engine of the vehicle to top up the batteries.
Definitely an Overlander.
It's an Overland rig, for sure.
Maybe it's a little bit hard for Taiwanese to really understand overlanding names because we're living in an island.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we wanted to interview you guys.
We're honored, thank you.
To talk about this kind of lifestyle because
It's different.
I'm very jealous. super jealous. This is like the ultimate road trip.
Yeah, it's a massive road trip. But it is a little bit, everybody says that as well, but it's sort of...
It's not easy.
Yeah, people...
It's definitely not.
No.
So
4年.
this is my shower.
Oh my god. So you shower
This is-
outside all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
We only have cold water. If we are in the middle of nowhere, we can just shower like this, keep underwear.
I think the final product that you see now comes after, I would say, close to 12 years or more of overlanding experience. And we've put everything that we learned over those 12 years. We've been more than 4 years now in this setup. Before that, we had a Land Rover Defender 90. And we traveled very basic with a tent and sometimes hotels, but we were always overlanding. Before that, in Australia, we owned a Toyota 80 series utility.
Wow.
With a rooftop tent.
There's quite an interesting thing in the overlanding circles around the world. You know, you've got the hardcore overlanders who are happy to just live out of a tent. But like Steffi said then, it's a matter of, okay, if we were just going to we had one 12-month trip planned and that was it. Okay, we don't mind doing it a little bit rough and a bit tougher, but we knew this was for the long term, so we wanted to have a little bit more extra comfort and space and a little bit nicer, you know. So we did.
It's like a full home. We only miss the toilet.
Yeah, no.
We don't have a toilet.
So how did you manage to? That's very
Here's
direct.
the toilet.
Well, 好吧，也算是回馈到大自然了。
But in Japan, we were in Japan
Mm-hmm.
before, and public toilets everywhere.
Ah,
but say
I
in
see.
Mongolia, you just go anywhere in the middle with your shovel.
Oh my god, this is
Sometimes there
crazy.
is no trees to hide behind.
So this is a 2010 TDCi Puma Defender 130.
2010.
2010, so it's got the 2.4-litre Ford Duratorque engine in it.
This is the newest Defender I've ever seen in
Is it
Taiwan.
really?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, because
Except for this one.
Oh, okay. Well,
the
that's a
newest
different
old-
story.
Newest old Defender, we can say.
Wow, this is nice.
And this one, 130 inches from axle to axle, center to center. And it's a high capacity pickup, so it's got a workload rating of 1,500 kilograms. Can carry a very heavy load, like this thing.
So you said it's French registered. So you,
Yes.
you bought it in French?
Germany.
Germany. Oh, okay.
It's actually the second Land Rover Defender
The
130.
90 trip.
We bought a black one initially. We also bought in Germany because the market seems to be a bit better than France, price-wise, and
Okay.
for the offer. So we bought a black one, and we bought the camper. We put them together, and we start the trip. And in Portugal, unfortunately, we had a car accident, a crash
no.
front. So the car couldn't be fixed. We got money from the insurance,
Okay.
and then we bought this one again in Germany.
So why do you call yourself GrizzlyN'Bear?
Because the camper model is Grizzly. It's the
Okay.
name of the camper. And in the black one, we had the front underneath
Protection.
The protection under.
Ah,
it was
okay.
Wild the bear. So we had the bear and the grizzly.
So
And it's quite funny because a lot of people they think it's us. They say,
yeah,
"Who is-
that's what I thought.
who
I
is
was like,
Grizzly and who is Bear?" I said, no, it's the
Bear
car and the camper.
And grizzly.
Actually, the car, as with all of the older Defenders, the prices around the world now are going up
Yeah, it
quite
is.
fast because they're collectible items now. I mean, they stopped building these in 2016. So when we bought this, like Steffi said, it was we had to be quick, and we bought this knowing it was in quite bad condition. but we got a cheaper price for it because I didn't care because I knew I was going to change everything. But we didn't realize just how bad condition it was.
Oh my God.
When we went deeper into this car, it was in terrible condition. We didn't plan to replace the engine, but we had to, unfortunately. So, but that was one of many things. There's not much that's standard on this vehicle anymore. We changed almost everything.
But when we picked the car up, it looked really good because we put spray on the tires. It was clean, so it was just like makeup.
Oh, I see.
Inside it wasn't.
也算是被中古车商话术了。
So when we rebuilt this one, we'd already learnt a lot of lessons from the building of an entire Defender 130. We'd done it already, so we knew what we needed, what we didn't. So on this Defender, we can almost confidently say that we got it perfect to suit our needs anyway for an international overland trip. I come from Australia, so ARB, designed for like kangaroos and stuff in Australia, cows, you know, some of the big animals. It's also front protection, yeah, for an accident, you know.
We have a winch. The winch was already on the car. So
I see.
We just cleaned it, greased it.
The engine's the 2.4 litre Ford Duratorque engine, TDCI engine. And we've had the engine computer remapped, and we changed the turbo and the intercooler to take us from a standard about 135 horsepower to about 195 and about 500 kilonewtons of torque. It's enough for us, definitely. We're not a race car, we're slow, but we do have a bit of power.
Would you say it's reliable?
In our experience, I have to say yes. And a lot of people may disagree with me because I've heard a lot of rumors of people having problems with this engine. But we're very, very concerned about our maintenance. When it's due for a service, we service. We never let a service go too long in between. We change the oil, we inspect regularly. If we find a problem, we get it fixed straight away.
Did you guys both fix the car by yourself? I mean,
with help from mostly done by a mechanic in France. We were actually living at the garage where they built this camper. So every day we got to be involved and see this car come together.
This is like a dream come true. Yeah, so nice.
The tree branch protectors or deflectors for when you're going through dense jungle or bush.
There's a lot of that in Taiwan.
Yeah, we used them a lot in Taiwan.
Oh, this is a roll cage.
Roll cage. Land Rover Defenders are made of aluminium. So they're like a can. So if we roll, this is going to protect us.
Hopefully. I don't want to ever have to use that though. We've got our snorkel on there, which is a German snorkel designed for Land Rover Defenders with a dust catcher in the top of it. This thing collects the dust before it gets to the air filter and protects your air filter, prolongs the life of your air filter. That's a really cool snorkel. Very different than a normal snorkel.
It's not only for deep water crossing.
We've had a 2-inch lift on the vehicles. We've got heavy duty
I can tell.
Coil springs in the front there. We've got a diff protector under the front there, and all of the shock absorbers are adjustable as well. When you think about an Overlander vehicle, and first of all, you need to think about, okay, where do I want to go? Do I want to do off-road trails or don't I? Because if you don't want to go off-road, you can still overland. Stick to the road, stick to the easier trails. You don't need a specifically off-roading vehicle. People can do it in a Mercedes Sprinter. They can do it in any vehicle they want. And I always tell people that as an Overlander, a full-time Overlander, our vehicle is also our full-time home. And we have to treat it like a house. So if we're going through a remote area in some country in the world and the road forks, but it finishes at the same destination, and there's 2 trails. One is extremely difficult and one's easy. I'm going to take the easy part. Because I'm not out to push this vehicle to its limits. I'm out to just get to the destination and have a good time while I'm doing it. We do like to take some challenging roads, but we don't want to put our house at risk either. An off-roader, they're going to take the more difficult one because they want that challenge. That's what they're doing, is to push their vehicle to its limits.
And driving capability. Another reason we chose the camper, it's removable. So we can have the vehicle as a 4x4 vehicle and tackle some more challenging track without damaging the house.
And we did that in Taiwan many times. We removed the camper so that we could do some
Yeah, I seen you
off-road
guys
trail.
at the rallycross, right?
Yeah, we went to Rallycross.
And we also
did
did
Sikang Road.
Sikang.
Yeah.
Very challenging trail.
That
Oh,
was scary.
石坑.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Was crazy,
The hot
man.
spring, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Never again. It's like a movie.
Mm,
It's so beautiful.
yeah.
Like Jungle, the
Jurassic
beautiful
Park.
river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
The hot spring is too hot for me. I go, oh, it's too hot.
And airbags inside the
Wow.
shock absorbers. So these are inflated using our compressor, which is inbuilt into the car. We've got an ARB compressor. So we pressure up the air and we get a nice level ride for when we're on the trails and on the road. We're traveling the world. This is a diesel-powered vehicle. The problem with traveling the world now, more than being remote and not being able to find diesel, is bad quality diesel. So for me, the decision was made to upgrade our diesel tanks to a long-range diesel tank so that we could get more kilometers, and when we found a reliable source of good
Wow.
quality diesel, we fill to the maximum. So this diesel tank here is Australian-made again. I got a lot of equipment from Australia. It's a custom-made 140-litre diesel tank. So we can take 140 litres in there, and coming around here,
Oh, the second tank.
we've got tank number 2, and that's a 70-litre side seal heavy-duty tank. So we've got a total diesel capacity of 210 litres. We can do about 1,600 kilometres before needing to refill. The
Wow.
original diesel tank that comes with these vehicles is 80 litres.
Wow.
That's quite a distance. We can do Taiwan maybe 3 times if with both tanks. See, an off-roader probably wouldn't bother with all those extra diesel tanks.
So it's more about endurance.
Yeah,
How do you
Exactly.
make the whole trip?
exactly right.
Wow.
That's all of the countries we've been in this car.
And
Only this car?
This is our outside kitchen.
Oh, nice.
so we can.
Oh, that's what I've been asking. How do you cook outside?
We have a small diesel cooker, and I can fill the diesel cooker from this tap here. We can cook using the same fuel as what the car takes, so it's very, very handy. And I have a tap, and I can fill my small diesel container, and then we use that with a camping stove to cook with as well outside. And we've also, in the camper, we heat our camper using a diesel heater. This is another overlanding thing, is we need to always be thinking, how can we reduce the different types of fuel we use and different things we need to find? By having a common fuel source, which is diesel, so we can cook with diesel. The car runs on diesel, and we heat our camper with diesel.
This is like building a house.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is a
House on
house.
wheels, a tiny house on wheels.
And a lot of maintenance, like a house.
And on the top, we've got obviously the spare tire, and in the other box over there, we carry spare parts.
Ah,
Because that's another important thing too, overlanding internationally. We don't carry an extremely large amount of spare parts, but it's important to carry the basics like wheel bearings, your engine's belt if you lose a belt. Some of the things that can commonly break, that could leave you stranded. The worst breakdown we had was we snapped. We were driving on a road in Kyrgyzstan, which is in Central Asia, and we were above 3,000 meters in the winter. It was a lot of snow. It was freezing cold, but I couldn't see because there was so much snow. We hit a big hole in the road, and this here snapped in half.
what?
And the whole car dropped on the ground and went sliding along the ice and into the snow on the side of the road.
So were there any receptions?
Yeah, luckily we had phone reception, even in this remote part of the mountains.
Oh no.
We were stranded for 24 hours though in the snow. We lived in the camper on the back of the car, even though we were smashed into the ground.
Wow.
Until our friend organised a recovery truck to come and take us back to the city.
You really have to make a lot of friends.
Yeah, oh yeah, you make a lot of
This is-
friends, people to help you out. But that's another beautiful thing about traveling like we do. Being foreigners and traveling with our own vehicle, people in every country that we've traveled, they go out of their way to help you when you're in trouble. I think that's human nature, you know, human spirit. It's a beautiful thing.
So why Defender?
A Defender, for me, it was a choice because a Land Rover Defender was my childhood dream. I can still remember the day. I can't remember how old I was, but I was only a small boy, and I was in a car park in Western Australia, and I saw my very first Land Rover Defender. It was a silver Land Rover Defender 90, so the short wheelbase model, and I fell in love. I think all kids see Defenders,
All kids.
little boys anyway, and they love them. It's the shape, they're just a utility, they're a tough looking vehicle. But as a kid I saw one and I remember just thinking, this is amazing. Then when it was time to get my driver's license, I did consider one, but I couldn't afford it. They were quite expensive in Australia at the time, so the dream had to wait. And then in, must be 7 years ago, we
Yes.
made the decision to move from Australia to France. I started to look online and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, I'm going to check the price of Defenders. Found that they were more reasonable in Europe, so I bought my very first Land Rover Defender 90 in Italy. I bought it online before I even ever saw it. I had it delivered from Italy to Paris and it was waiting for us at Stephanie's mother's house when we arrived in France.
Land Rover is like a family. It's amazing.
是我帮你准备的，小孩子在玩的。
这就是兄弟会的真谛。
对。
We wave to each other, Defenders. We wave to each other, and there is really a sense
The
of
community,
community.
When you think of 4x4, they've been around, I mean, for more than 70 years now. And when you think of Land Rover, you think the outback, you think Africa, you know, you think the bush, remote areas.
Safaris.
Safari, exactly.
Desert and
It's
safari.
just what comes to, I mean, there's even an African country, and you can see it inside there, that's got a Land Rover Defender on their currency, you know, on their money. So, I mean, that's, for me, it's that attraction to Land Rover. Most people know Land Rovers, they're not typically the most reliable vehicles these days, you know. They do have a lot of problems. They're not comfortable, they're loud, they're rough to drive, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's, all of that is part of the experience of owning a Land Rover. And like Steffi said, the community that comes with it, it's like nothing else. I've driven many 4x4s in the 25 years that I've been driving, and I've never experienced a connection with any other make or model of vehicle like I have with the Land Rover community. And I'll tell you right now that of all the Land Rover communities that we've experienced in the world, and we do experience a lot because we go from country to country, Taiwan has been the most insane. Like, you guys are so passionate.
They are crazy.
Oh,
Pretty
incredible.
crazy. Yeah.
The Taiwan Land Rover Club is the most epic and passionate and crazy guys we've ever met.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
And friends for life.
Yeah, family for life.
Family.
The notorious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since when did you started to plan that I wanted to go out for such a long trip?
We're international couple because I'm from France and Leigh is from Australia. We met in Thailand.
Initially, the traveling side of things that led to overlanding was the rock climbing. We were constantly traveling internationally for rock climbing. Then we moved to Europe. There was no point us having a rental house anymore because we were spending more time on road trips than what we were staying in a house. So we thought, well, why do we need to pay rent anymore? Let's just live in our car. You know, this is how it all... But before that, I mean, in Australia, we were overlanding, but in Australia, it's so common for people to not live out of their vehicles full time, but to do big road trips.
It's common for people to take a year off and travel all around Australia.
Just inland?
Yeah,
Yes.
inland, the coast. Before we started this particular journey, I worked in the offshore oil and gas industry. I worked in Scotland, in Africa, in China, many places around the world, and my job was a rotational job. So I would work 4 weeks away from home, and then that would earn me 4 weeks holidays. And this is how it went all year. So 1 month on, 1 month off. So we always
Lucky,
had
yeah.
6 months a year to travel, which was...
Is it very common?
No.
Not so common, no.
Yeah, it's a very progressive lifestyle.
Yeah, it's quite it was a good job for traveling. So this is how we've been able to overland for a very long time while I went away to work, whether it was in Africa or China or wherever I was working. She would stay with the vehicle in whatever country we were in at the time.
Wow.
I would go to work.
By
That's
myself.
crazy. What?
She's a tough girl this time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Very brave.
But I wouldn't drive. I would just stay
At the
one
same
place
place. Ah,
and
okay.
keep myself busy. And I would meet people, and then we continue the journey.
And then when we started this particular journey 4 years ago, we had some friends, and they were also content creators, YouTubers. They're not overlanders, I don't know what we can call them, but they're sailing a boat around the world. So I was watching them and I'm like, well, if they can make YouTube videos, then we should try the same, because not only we thought it will be fantastic memories for us in the future to document our journey, but we wanted to share this journey with our friends and family in France and Australia, because we don't get to see them so often. So I was still working, like I said, at the time, but then we started to make the YouTube videos. We never expected it to be successful. We were just making them for fun, and Stephanie taught herself
for
and
our family. Mom is watching every Friday, and so my grandmothers.
So then we continued to do this, and the channel grew. We realized that this has the potential to actually support us financially, where we were earning not big money, but enough to keep living quite a simple lifestyle and buy our food and put some diesel in the truck and fix our car when we needed to get it fixed. And so I quit my job in China, and then we became real full-time overlanders.
How do you start to prepare a trip like this?
There is a lot to it, but we don't make plans, because if you make plan, it's not going to happen like you had it planned. So we are somewhere and then we say, oh, where could we go next? For example, we tried to reach Iran, and it was some political situation that didn't allow us to go through Iran, and our only option was to go to Mongolia in November, which was freezing.
For us, like Stephanie said, we wanted to be completely free. So we had a rough idea when we first started planning this trip, like maybe 6 years ago. We changed our initial plan 4 times, I think. The original plan was we were going to ship from Belgium to Halifax in Canada. And then something changed, I can't remember exactly, this changed. So we said, oh well, let's go to Africa instead. This didn't happen because of another change of situation. So then we said, okay, let's go to Iceland. We were going to go to Norway and up to Iceland. This didn't happen, so we went east. And now, here we are. But a lot of people ask a question like, how can I do it? Like, I want to do a trip like yours, but I keep putting it off or delaying it. I talk about it. How can I commit? And I often tell people, you need to do a couple of things to make sure that you can't change your mind. Getting the car is the easy bit, I think. You can build a car, you can just buy any event, like I mentioned before. Buy a Mitsubishi Leigh for $1,000 and put a mattress in the back. That's all you need. A water tank and a mattress, and you are ready to be an overlander. The car is not the issue. It's in here. It's the making that decision to leave everything you know, your comfort zone. Get out of that comfort zone and just go with no destination, no nothing. But you need to do a few things. Firstly, tell your job that you're going to quit. You know, this is the big one for so many people. They're like, oh no, I'm sick. I've got a good job. I don't want to quit. Like, no, I can't. It's possible for anyone. It's just, you have to make that decision, and that's a big deal. It's a lot of courage involved to do that. I've never had a problem to do that. I quit my job anytime, no problem. And the other thing is, give them a date. Once you've got that date that you've told your work you're going to quit, then organize your accommodation. If you live in a house or an apartment, and if it's your own house, rent it out. Rent it out and put a date down. Put a date. If you're renting the house, tell the real estate agency, I'm moving out on this date.
You're pushing yourself out.
Yeah, then you've got these two things. You're like, we have to do it now. We've had the car for 5 years and we've been talking about it. But now, we've both just quit our jobs. We've just told our real estate agent that we're moving out in 6 months. We've got no option now but to just go. You know, because we're going to look silly. Tell all your friends and your family what you're doing. Give them warning. Tell them about it. And say, we're going on this date. Prepare them. Because that way, if you change your mind, they're going, I knew you wouldn't do it, sort of thing. You know, you didn't have the courage, but you want to push yourself. So there's some things that you can do to take that initial step, and then I promise people, when you're gone, you won't look back. You know.
It sounds like workout.
Yeah.
Oh no.
For me, I think there's no real hard part about it. Like, it's not difficult. The hardest bits are the unexpected surprises, the things that go wrong. And then you have to deal with them, but you didn't plan for them. So we can talk the car accident, we can talk vehicle damage, like we got the snapped axle. We can tell a story that we were crossing a frozen river in Mongolia in the evening, and the ice broke and our car fell through into a frozen river at 6 p.m. and we got arrested in Azerbaijan because they thought we were spies, you know.
Really?
So all these things, they're the most difficult things.
At the time. After, it becomes a very good story.
Yeah, that's right. It's all great memories now, but panic first, of course. You panic, you freak out, and then you're calm and you think, all right, now we need to plan. What are we going to do here? We're in the middle of Mongolia. We're stuck in a frozen river. There's no one around. It's going to be minus 20 degrees Celsius tonight. We have a risk of our car freezing in the river.
That was insane because we had to enter Russia the next day, and it was a special visa, a transit visa. You have to enter on that day and not the day after.
And that's it.
And that's it. And then
Wow.
otherwise I don't know what would have, because our visa would have run out in Mongolia.
I spent 4 hours with an axe chopping the ice
You had,
around my
water.
car. We drove and halfway across the ice, Steffi was filming. I hear the noise
And then,
and through the ice. Luckily the river was only maybe 1 meter deep.
but then it was sand on the bottom. So then as it tried to get out, it just got
Oh no.
inside deep in the sand.
Little
Chassis
experience,
was
but-
on the bed of the river.
Stuck on blocks of ice.
that was
Incredible experience,
terrible.
you know. And we have a saying, there's a phrase, I don't know if you've heard this in English, we say it's not an adventure until something goes wrong. It's so very true, whether we're rock climbing or mountaineering or off-roading or having these disasters, it really does make for an incredible adventure, because if you go out on a big adventure and you go for a week hiking in the mountains and everything just goes smoothly and there was nothing, you saw some beautiful mountains, you crossed some beautiful rivers and it all just went smoothly. Are you going to remember that at the end of your life? No. But I'll never forget the day we were stuck in a frozen river. I'll never forget the car accident, the broken axle, getting arrested by the military. You know, these are the things that stand out forever.
I'll never forget the day I raced my car in Lipao.
Oh, in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
That's nice. Is there any roads or routes that is the most unforgettable one?
Oh, absolutely. For me, it's the
Batang
Valley in Tajikistan.
This Batang Valley is not very commonly driven to because of the risk. We were lucky to be at the right season, but there is very common landslides and very deep. That was crazy. If you slide, you're gone. It's finished. It was very, very memorable because of the scenery, very untouched and very gigantic mountains, a beautiful scenery, but also the villages there, the people, they live in total isolation. The only 3 items they are getting from outside world is oil, salt and sugar. All the rest, they are self-sustainable. They don't use plastic. They grow the grain and they ground the grain to make their own bread. Wow. And they're happy people. The kids, they don't have toys, but they look happy. They have a very big imagination. They find a stick and this is a toy, I can do this and that. This was very deeply, we were moved.
Because it had everything, it had some of the most epic scenery that you can find anywhere on the face of the planet. It's so remote. The off-road was amazing as well, difficult. And the culture. So it had just a good balance and mix of everything.
Scary moments driving, like you look down and like, if I fall, this is the end of the story.
So what about the next journey after you head back to Australia? Because I heard you guys were talking about South Africa?
Maybe South America.
Yes.
I don't know.
No plan.
We will see. No plan at all.
No,
we're going to return to Australia because we need to spend some time with my family. We're going to do that for a couple of years, travel with my parents. Who knows? Again, like Steffi mentioned earlier, we never make plans because after 2 years of traveling Australia, we don't know what situation will be in the world or what can happen. Who knows? We may even go, another potential route is to drive to the north of Australia and to ship to Indonesia and then come up through Asia because we very much want to travel in India and Pakistan. There's a lot more of the world to see.
You know, it's probably even hotter than
Oh yeah.
You sure about that?
We have to choose
Living in a
choose
camper.
the season wisely.
Yes.
Plans always change, so don't get your heart or your mind so set that we are going here, because something might happen. It's impossible for you to go there. And if you remain flexible and open, then you can have the opportunity to come and experience a country that you would never have thought you would be in, like Taiwan. We're here, we've had the most incredible time. We're going to be emotional,
Oh, yes.
also excited, you know. But yeah, in only 4 days, we're going to load this camper into a sea container in Taichung and send it on its way.
No matter where we go, all I want is meet beautiful people and beautiful landscape, and the rest, it doesn't matter where we are.
Wherever
So-
we are at the time, we consider our home. People ask us where we live all the time. They say, yeah, but we say here, right here in this car park at this time, or right here in this campground at this time. This is our house. This is where we live. Like, honestly, that we don't have another house. This is our home. This is our life. This is everything to us. And we hope it will be for a very long time ahead.
We are nomads.
I guess I'll see you on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I reckon so.
Thank
I
you.
hope so. One day,
Yeah.
somewhere.
What
been an honor.
what would be your car of choice?
Me?
Yes.
But this, you know, I'm driving a Land Rover today, right?
Yeah, that's
No.
right. You can take a disco.
For me, I think I'm more of a Land Cruiser man.
Oh,
Yeah.
sensible.
No, it's an icon for me.
Yeah.
Come on.
And if you were going to be
An
an
overlander.
international overlander, but you could only choose, you had a short time, so you had to
Continent.
choose one continent, where would you love to overland?
Patagonia.
Patagonia.
South
Yeah, South
America?
America.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
But we
'Cause
see
I-
you there.
Yeah,
See
I'll see you on the
you.
road. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.